Hey, this is Mark, Circle of Dark Mother. Today we're going to talk about Ladder of Lights, Rung 8 with Lilith. And if you've been following this series, this is the last rung. There are 8 of them. Before we go any further, I do want to mention again that the first couple slides here are repeats from all the other rungs. I'm including them because I don't want people to jump into the middle of this and not know what's going on. So if you've already seen this part, you can jump ahead. The Ladder of Lights. Ancient Mesopotamian culture was very aware of the night sky and the heavenly bodies that inhabit it. They were skilled astronomers and astrologers, and one of their primary practices that merged this knowledge of astrology and astronomy and their spirituality was called the Ladder of Lights, which has 8 spheres or rungs: Earth, Moon, Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. The Ladder of Lights was later adopted by the Jewish people, probably during the Babylonian exile, by combining it with their Merkabah throne chariot mysticism to produce what we now call Kabbalah. The spheres or rungs in the Ladder of Lights are aspect of deity and a bridge to heightened consciousness. Lilith. Lilith is a goddess in ancient Mesopotamia, Sumer, Akkad, Assyria, and Babylon, who is associated with wind, night, and sexuality. Lilith is both a goddess and a demon. Gods and goddesses are descended from the primordial pair of deities, but demons are any god or spirit who doesn't follow the rules. And we have to be clear that demons are not, in this culture, are not the Judeo-Christian demons. This was just the word that was used by linguists to translate their word. Demons are not some followers of great evil. They just don't follow the godly rules. The name Lilith appears in the Sumerian Assyrian god list. This document is written in cuneiform and on clay tablets. Only lists of entities considered gods or goddesses are on this list. So if they're on the list, they're a deity, and Lilith is on the list. Lilith is listed in the Sumerian Assyrian god list, with her Sumerian name being Dimmi-Gi, which loosely means deity of the night, and her Assyrian name Lilitu, meaning she who comes by air. There are several deities that appear later, post the Sumerian culture, who can be associated with Lilith and her attributes. They may be aspects or they may be separate entities. Rung 8, Saturn. Color black, incense plant myrrh, cypress. Focus, mysteries of life and death. Stones, onyx. Primary aspect, there's no secondaries, Lilith. Example method is death ritual. Optimum timing is Saturday. The Mesopotamian month or Sabbat is Akito, around 11:1, and the chakra is supernal. Lilith. We've already sort of covered this, but I'm going to do it again with some other information. Sumerian name Dimmi-Gi, Assyrian name Lilith, name meaning she who comes by air. Lilith has over 100 names and variations in myths, ranging from ancient Sumeria to Jewish mysticism to tribal Malaysia and to myths from around the 3rd millennia. The name Lilith, listed in the Sumerian god list as Dimmi-Gi, translates to deity of the night. Lilith is a goddess and a demon. Theories of her parentage are many, with the most likely candidates being the sky god Anu or the air god Enlil. One theory is that all of the Dim-Mi goddess demons are sisters. Lilitu, Labasu, Lamashtu, Abizu, and so on all have the Dim-Mi as a prefix for their name. Death ritual. There are many ways to do a death ritual. The intent of this is to connect to the dead that are unable to move on and help them to have a choice of whether they stay, reincarnate, or move to a higher plane of existence. One common way to do this is during ceremony, have someone lay down and cover them with a blanket or other material to simulate a death shroud. Anoint the person's hands, feet, and forehead with oils, as was done with the dead. Have the central ritualist call on any spirits that are present to come but harm none. Have everyone in attendance focus on love, compassion, acceptance, and that the spirits are free. This process helps the dead to see that they do have choice and can move on if they choose. The month of Akitu. Samhain takes place on October 31st and considered a feast of the dead in the Gnostic Kabbalistic tradition. This celebration takes place in the Mesopotamian month of Akitu. As October turns to November, the sacred time of Samhain, Festival of the Dead, arrives. Samhain means summer end and is pronounced Samhain in Gaelic or Samhain in Welsh. Samhain is a celebration of the end of the harvest and the start of the coldest half of the year. Samhain also heralds the beginning of the spiritual new year. For Gnostic Kabbalists, this Feast of the Dead is focused on helping all spirits to move on either to their next incarnation or to move on to their afterlife. Hopefully that was helpful, and that ends the cycle of rungs of the Ladder of Lights.